I've finally got to that point where I can, like, not only I enjoy it, but I can start making money from it as well for like a job.
She is only 14 years old. We have some leeway. But yes, I do have to get on a case, and yes, she'll give me the eyes.
We are putting children in a wonderful atmosphere if everything's positive and they can create a business out of it, but it is still social media and there is still that nasty side to it as well.
People were sending packages to my school for me when I was a child. And that's, bypassing my whole safety network in terms of my family.
A big part of the code is kind of questions for parents, asking them, does it feel like my child is up for it today? Are they having fun?
Sums of money that can be generated from a following. It's scary.
I'm just gonna tell you about my day because why not? I'm in a really yappy mood, so I'm gonna tell you.
14-year-old Demi Marcellus, what kind of videos does she make then?
So some of her videos that get the most traction is, her get ready with me for school videos. And in these videos, she will, maybe flash a branded lip gloss or an eyebrow pencil, and that will have been sent to her by brands to promote. But she does, unbranded content as well, typical teenage things where she does lip syncing videos with her friends, story time, stuff like that. She's also done a few athleisure brands where she'll model the clothes alongside, a song or something like that.
Now, it was you who came across this story, really. What do you, when you're watching her, what can you kind of get the appeal and why so many people watching it? What is it about it?
I think it's the younger generation. She definitely reaches a lot of young girls. All of her comments are just filled with, and when we spoke to Demi, she said all these girls just want to be her friend. It's a real way for the younger generations to sort of connect with each other. And I think they are easily influenced. If you see someone like Demi trying out a product, they are going to go and buy that or, ask their mum and dads to buy that product as well. And
they're more accessible than the big athletes or singers who demand £1 million, £2 million, £3 million for an Instagram post. No disrespect to our Kidfluencers, but with a smaller following, they are more gettable for brands to know I can reach people who are going to buy this mascara.
Yeah.
And I don't have to pay the Kidfluencer a ridiculous sum of money. It can often start with just free products, but then later grows into something where it's hundreds or even thousands of pounds, but it's not to the same scale. And they know they're still going to get a decent return on investment with people going and buying it.
All right, well, seeing as we are talking about the dosh, let's have a little listen to Demi talking about that first deal of hers and how she goes about promoting these brands then.
My mum first told me, I was like, oh my God, yay! And I was just so happy because I was like, I've finally got to that point where I can, not only I enjoy it, but I can start making money from it as well for a job. I would love to keep doing this. It's just really fun to do. It's not stressful, everything about it's just really easy.
So how do these deals work?
So with Demi, it first started that she started posting on TikTok and started getting a few followers here or there, but it really picked up when she went on holiday to Spain and started doing these get ready with me videos. And she says, there was the sun, I was wearing these fun outfits, and it kind of thousands of people sort of started seeing it and following her. And then she had brands reaching out directly to her account saying, we'd like to send you this product, or we'd like you to advertise something for us. And at first they engaged with that, but her mum said quite quickly they knew there had to be an intermediary to sift through those. So they now work with a manager, an agent kind of character who deals with these brands, and they together decide, is this a brand we want to promote? They look at the fee. Is it something they're interested in? Actually, it's funny to think that a 14-year-old might say, oh, no, I think I'm worth a little bit more than that. My following equates to X
What is her
numbers.
following, out of interest?
270-ish thousand on TikTok, and that is about 12 million likes she's got on there as well. So not only is she getting the followers, she's getting the engagement as well. And that's something these brands will look at. And it's quite hard because you are equating someone and their worth to how many people follow them, which is quite tricky and I don't think amazing for people's mental health going forward, but it is a big part of social media.
Something that struck me about Demi when we went to visit her, actually, and she said it in the clip there, is just how easy she finds this as a job. Whenever we were with her, she demonstrated to us, how she would film a TikTok, and it took her under 5 minutes. So
give me an example though. What would she do? She's sitting at her dressing table there.
She puts her phone, she doesn't even have a tripod, she just puts her phone at the bottom of the dressing table.
Does it all herself?
She does it all herself. And she'll go, hey guys, oh God, I'm not going to do it.
Do it.
You know
Realised I
you
was
want
sniffing
to.
and, like, hey guys, get ready with me for school. Today I've got X, Y, and Z. I'm doing these lessons. I'm trying out this new outfit. It's, school holidays coming up. I'm going here. Where are you guys going? Let me know in the comments. All that sort of thing.
So it's just a chat.
It is. It's exactly a chat. It's exactly a
To
chat.
no one, but then they engage.
Yeah, and there's very little formality to it. And I think that's what people love. I mean, that's what I love about social media.
You did talk about Demi's mum. We've got to bring in the parents at some point. Her name's Gemma. Let's have a little listen to what she told you about how you kind of keep this business on track, and especially, obviously, taking Demi's age into consideration.
She has got deadlines. In the same breath, our manager is very good, and she will say, listen, she is only 14 years old, so we have some leeway in that. But yes, I do have to get on a case, and yes, she'll give me the eyes.
And is the money kept to one side then for future?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So Demi will hate me, but I keep all of her money in an account. So when she's older, she can buy a car, buy a house. It's all investment for her future.
I mean, it sounds pretty amazing that she's going to have this huge stash at the end of it. But I'm really intrigued as to the mum's whole feeling about it when this started to happen. Was she not a little bit nervous?
She said it's an area they'd never really thought about or knew anything about. And I think that's common for the parents of influencers a lot of the time. It's interesting to say the term like parent influencer gets thrown around a lot. And that's kind of twofold. It could be the parent of a kidfluencer who started their own channel. Yes.
Like Gemma.
Who started her own channel and grew a following, and she is a parent. But it could also be a parent who is an influencer and includes their child in their content.
Right.
So that is quite different. But Gemma was very level-headed about the situation, saying, when she talks about deadlines, these brands are still businesses and will say, here's a brief, we want you to create this content. It must be done by this day because we want to be seeing you post it then. We've got this new product coming out then. It needs to be rolled out. We're going to cross-post it so that we can get it on our channel as well. Must be said, Demi is fully on board with it, absolutely loves it and smashes it out of the park consistently. But there are those worries around kidfluencing and protecting, physical and mental well-being, security, privacy, financial well-being going forward. And I think that's a big part of the stigma around kidfluencing, is the idea that it's exploitative in some way. That's not the case, as it appears to me, with Gemma and Demi at all. But we've seen things recently, like the sums of money that can be generated from a following. It's scary.
Oh, we haven't talked about that, though. What kind of sums are we talking about?
Depends on
Are we allowed to?
Yeah, it depends on your following size. I would say right from the lowest level of just being sent free products up to £400-500 into the thousands when you've got 200,000-300,000 followers. I think you could be demanding £1,500, £2,000 per post. Per post we're talking.
And how many posts a week does she do?
You can kind of do as many as you want. Demi's doing 2 or 3 a month in the paid sphere. She's also doing just general content, which is her on her channel. But if you were more financially motivated, there is no reason you couldn't be doing 5-6 branded posts a week. There are kidfluencers who would pull in tens of millions of pounds every year. Wow. There's a study done that found that it was in the top 10 most desirable jobs for young people under the age of, I think, 16, was to be an influencer.
And it's seen as a real job as well. And you've been speaking to another one, haven't you, Sarah? She's a former kidfluencer. Beckii Flint, tell me a bit about her.
So she's now 30, but she went viral.
She must have been one of the originals then.
Yeah, back in 2009. So she went viral on YouTube in Japan because she used to do these lip syncing dancing videos to K-pop music.
Okay.
And that sort of led her to being flown out to Japan, getting signed by an agency out there. She did a lot of branded commercial content out there in Japan. Now, Beckii was very lucky to have, supportive parents who protected her through that process, but she did tell us that, her mental health certainly took a toll at times, reading unfiltered comment sections, things that she still remembers, and also like her privacy being breached quite a lot.
Let's have a little listen to her explaining what life was like for her.
People were sending packages to my school for me when I was a child. And that's, bypassing my whole safety network in terms of my family. You have to rely on the school at that point. So certain things like that. I think it's just opening eyes to actually there can be a lot of ways in which social media and the internet can be used in quite a negative way to affect people, affect their right to privacy, their right to safety.
You did say that her parents kind of helped her manage the whole experience and everything. You've done a bit of research, or has Beckii
So
done
Beckii has done some
into
research
the
and
role
shared
of
it exclusively with us.
Right.
And some of those sort of key stats that stood out to me when we were looking at this topic is that 2/3 of parent influencers, that is sort of mumfluencers, etc., aren't involving their children in filming decisions. And that actually includes allowing them to say no. So children are kind of having their consent when it comes to how they're filmed and when they're filmed being taken away from them. And as Rishi was saying, whenever you look at sort of the big YouTube channels, you essentially have these children who are involved in the commercial content becoming the breadwinners of a family, and the income.
Wow.
The income, it's a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah.
And the income of that family is essentially kind of on that child as well. And we were listening to Gemma there when she was talking about the finances of things. And, Demi's very lucky to have her mum, have this separate savings account for Demi, and she's protected in that sense. But I think it highlights the need for regulation as well, some of these statistics, because half of parents also don't have that savings account set up for children who are involved in their branded content. So, there's some pitfalls in this, definitely.
So the money goes straight into the parents.
Yeah.
So it becomes family dot.
One thing that Beckii is trying to make people aware of is there is a second side to this that we have to be aware of. We are putting children in a wonderful atmosphere if everything's positive and they can create a business out of it, but it is still social media and there is still that nasty side to it as well. You can have negative comments. You can be exploited by the brands asking too much of you or setting expectations too high. You can be, in some cases, exploited by your parents who think, well, hang on a second. I'm working 5-6 days a week, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and I'm not pulling in anywhere near this amount of money. Well, maybe I should put a bit of pressure on my child and we can just make money off that. So Beckii has been working on this kidfluencing code, which is twofold. It's for parents in that space, whether they are the parents of kidfluencers or they are themselves an influencer and using their child on their content, and brands who are hoping to work with children and wanting people to protect physical well-being, mental well-being, privacy, financial security, those sorts of things. She's saying it's really important that we have this. There's no current strict legal standing when it comes to kidfluencing. Interestingly, there's a law that exists in California, Coogan law, whereby 15% of all earnings of a child star must be deposited into a trust so that the parents
This
can't have
reminds me a
control
little
over
bit
everything.
of kind of Britney and her dad, and years ago when he kind of looked after her earnings and things like that, and then huge court battles to get it back and all that kind of thing. So you can imagine this in the future coming to pass in this way for perhaps kid influencers.
A big part of the code is kind of questions for parents, asking them, does it feel like my child is up for it today? Are they having fun? And importantly, the content that I'm filming, can they still consent to this when they turn 18? Would they still want this on the internet? And that kind of speaks to the privacy issue that we were discussing earlier.
Beckii's code for parents and for brands is really trying to get people in a space where they know how they should be treating this, because it is very new and it's a big grey area that they're operating in. We spoke to an MP who oversees some of the child online safety issues, Gregor Poynton. He said his biggest worry is that no one's going to sit up and take note of this until something really bad happens. And the government has said, they are constantly monitoring the kidfluencing space and they look for ways that they can address this. The online safety bill, some suggested as, could this incorporate that? But actually the online safety bill is primarily focused on consuming internet content, young people consuming internet content, not being the creators
the
of it.
content.
They estimate that the influencing business, and not just kidfluencing, but the influencing business is worth tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars worldwide. Just yesterday, I was at a world premiere of a new Netflix series, and they had 150 influencers invited to be there, many of whom would have been under the age of 18 and were there with a parent.
I think we're in the wrong job, aren't we?
Yeah.
Let's give up the day job
Yeah.
and earn millions on YouTube. Demi says it's easy.
Yeah, I feel like if I learned how to dance, I could probably make some decent money. doing
I would
dancing,
pay
yes.
good money to see you dance.
I think you'd be the only one. £8 a week. If you can agree to that, I'll go for it.
Deal. Thank you both so much for talking to me about that. And I mean, I knew what they were, but just really, really grasping just how the scale of this industry for them. Thank you both very much indeed. And until our next quick briefing, thank you very much for joining us.